Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of QG Diaries, a program on Quranology Television QGTV. Today marks day 13 of Ramadan 2015 and it's almost 2 weeks now. I mean, time does fly, although I must say I still have not got used to the fasting. Anyway, yes, today would be another unplanned episode, but one which I think is very pertinent. So anyway, the question came up yesterday from a very good friend of mine about relationships and marriages with non-Muslims. Now, this is a very loaded term. When we say relationships with non-Muslims, there is a particular feeling which is generated towards that idea. Now, when we say someone is non-Muslim, what do we mean exactly? Do we mean that he's not a good person? No. Of course, there are good people from all walks of life. Do we mean that that person is somehow disconnected from the Muslim world? Also no. That person may have good Muslim friends or even Muslim relatives. We don't even know. What it really means is that person is not brought up within the Muslim culture. And this raises a question. We have a diversity of human culture. We have cultures in Latin America, we have cultures in the Far East, we have cultures in Outer Mongolia, in Australia, and all corners of the world. So in all these corners of the world, would God therefore give one single version of the truth and say, either you follow this version or you are going to hell? And another question which comes up is, are the indigenous Muslims themselves, if you permit me to use the word indigenous, are they themselves actually practicing Islam to the best of their abilities? Well, we don't even know. So this then raises a very theological issue. Would God be fair to judge people based on the fact that they are not non-Muslims? I don't think so. So today we will try to understand what the Quranic position is. Now, the people who say, okay, either you are Muslim or you will not be saved, they usually quote chapter 3, verse 19, which says, verily the religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. Chapter 3, verse 85 says that if you don't adopt Islam as your deen, you are one of the losers. You will simply not succeed, So this then tells the Muslims that, okay, well, Islam is the only way. But they fail to understand that, they fail to see that Quran has a number of other verses which explains what it means to adopt Islam as your deen. For example, chapter 2, verse 62, chapter 5, verse 69, it gives you the idea that there is a multiplicity of ways to be Muslim. It mentions what is usually translated as Jews, Christians, Sabians, etc. But basically it says, whoever believes with Allah and the period of consequence and is righteous, he has no fear nor shall he grieve. So here we are judging people, and the term believing with Allah is a very, very wide concept. He's expounded in 2,700 verses of the Quran. So you can see that actually it's not something very narrow. And then if you look at verses like chapter 13, verse 17, which talks about al-haq, or the truth, and how Allah descends al-haq and makes it flow in many different streams. And this is the metaphor Allah uses to explain the truth, that it flows in multiple streams. Hence, we cannot accuse people of not having the truth. They have a measure of the truth. We have a measure of the truth. We believe Quran is the complete truth. I believe that the Quran is the fully elucidated essential truth of mankind. But I do not believe that I have all the answers. I don't. So I think what we need to do is to be humble, essentially, to say that, okay, well, we are students of the truth. We are trying to get at the truth, but I'm not going to call people non-Muslims. I don't like the term non-Muslims. I prefer to call them fellow human beings. I'm from a Muslim culture, they are not from a Muslim culture, but that does not figure into our salvation. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. I'm actually over the time limit again. I don't know what's going on. Inshallah, tomorrow we will be back, perhaps with another exciting topic. Thank you very much for viewing QG Diaries this Ramadan. Bye.